Buenos Aires begins with breadth. The city does not rise abruptly but extends in constancy, its avenues aligned, its facades repeating, its trees forming rows of shadow and light. From the Rio de la Plata, the vast estuary where a river becomes sea, the city appears low and horizontal, its skyline soft by domes, towers, and grids. The impression is not spectacle but rhythm. Facade after facade, street after street, plaza after plaza. The Rio de la Plata defines the first approach. Its waters broad and silvery, its horizon dissolving into sky. Ships cross in cycles, ferries move toward Uruguay, sails appear in intervals. The river is not boundary but cadence, flowing beside the city in breadth unbroken. Along its edge, docks extend, walkways align, trees planted in sequence. Waters shimmer by day, lights reflect by night. The river does not dazzle, it persists in constancy. The avenues of Buenos Aires extend in geometry. Some broad, like Avenida 9 de Julio, with traffic flowing in cycles, lights changing in intervals. Others narrow, lined with trees, their shadows falling in rhythm. Facades align along them, balconies repeating, shutters closed or open. Steps echo on pavements, voices drift in cadence, bells ring from churches in intervals. The avenues are not chaos. They are persistence shaped in stone and shadow. The architecture reveals layers of history. Neoclassical columns, Art Nouveau curves, rationalist forms, modern glass. Each building distinct, yet together forming rhythm. Domes punctuate skyline, cornices align, windows repeat in rows. From Plaza de Mayo to Recoleta, from San Telmo to Palermo, facades extend in cadence. The city does not overwhelm. It breathes in rhythm. The plazas open as pauses within grid. Plaza de Mayo, Plaza San Martin, Plaza Francia. Trees aligned in rows, benches placed in sequence, statues rising in constancy. Children play, elders sit, conversations drift, silence fills between. The plazas breathe in repetition, each resembling the others, each persisting unbroken. The trees of Buenos Aires define its streets. Jacarandas bloom in violet, their flowers falling in cycles. Tipas extend branches, their leaves rustling in rhythm. Plane trees align in rows, their trunks mottled, their shadows repeating across sidewalks. Seasons alter colors, blossoms fall, leaves scatter, yet rhythm persists, trees do not dazzle. They endure. From above, Buenos Aires appears as grid. Streets aligned in order, avenues crossing in constancy, neighborhoods extending. Blocks repeat, houses align, rooftops glow in light. The pattern dissolves into persistence, geometry unbroken. The sound of Buenos Aires is subdued when heard in cadence. Traffic hums in intervals, footsteps echo on stone, voices drift in markets, bells ring in churches. Music escapes from cafés, laughter rises in plazas, silence fills between. Noise becomes rhythm, rhythm dissolves into calm. The light of the city shifts in cycles. Morning spreads across facades, shadows retreat, streets glow. Afternoon deepens, trees cast longer shade, buildings warm in color. Evening arrives, lamps glow in constancy, windows illuminated. Night spreads, silence grows, rhythm sustains. Light does not overwhelm, it repeats. History breathes in these first impressions. Founded in 16th century, abandoned, refounded, expanded in cycles. Immigration in 19th and 20th centuries added rhythm. Italians, Spaniards, Germans, French, all building houses, opening cafes, shaping barrios. Crises passed, growth resumed, continuity endured. Buenos Aires does not alter in essence. It persists. From the river to the avenues, from plazas to domes, the city unfolds in cadence. Each neighborhood distinct, yet all dissolving into rhythm. San Telmo with its cobblestones, La Boca with its colors, Palermo with its parks, Recoleta with its avenues. Variety dissolves into persistence. The city is not spectacle. It is geometry softened into calm. The first impression of Buenos Aires is breadth. Streets do not dazzle, they align. Buildings do not overwhelm, they repeat. River does not vary, it persists. Each impression mirrors the others, each rhythm endures, and so the guide begins. Buenos Aires will unfold barrio by barrio, plaza by plaza, façade by façade. History, culture, markets, and music will appear in sequence, dissolving into cadence. The immensity of the city will not overwhelm but soothe. The city begins with river. The city begins with street. The city begins with rhythm, facade after facade, balcony after balcony, shadow after shadow, and then calm, and then silence, and then rest. Buenos Aires extends on the western shore of the Rio de la Plata, a river so broad that it resembles a sea. Its waters are shallow, its color shifting in cycles of brown and silver, its horizon dissolving into sky. From the coast, the opposite shore is invisible. Only a faint suggestion of Uruguay appears on clear days. The river is not boundary, but expanse, a surface that breathes with wind and tide. Along its edge, the city aligns, docks in sequence, avenues in order, green spaces in constancy. The river does not dazzle, it persists. The coastline of Buenos Aires is long and straight, shaped by ports, parks, and promenades. To the north, the district of Puerto Madero extends in symmetry, docks converted into boulevards, buildings reflected in water. To the south, Costanera Sur preserves marshes and lagoons, birds flying in cycles, reeds swaying in rhythm. Between, the city presses against river, its avenues opening in geometry, its plazas aligned. The coast is not spectacle. It is cadence of stone and water. From river inward, Buenos Aires unfolds in grid. Streets intersect at right angles, blocks repeating in constancy. Each block nearly equal, each street aligned, each intersection mirrored. The grid extends across neighborhoods, interrupted only by diagonal avenues or plazas. Geometry defines the city, order softened by trees, facades, and light. The impression is not chaos. It is repetition. Within this grid, plazas open as pauses. Plaza de Mayo, Plaza San Martin, Plaza Dorrego, Plaza Italia. Each square framed by trees, statues placed in center, benches aligned in sequence. Children play, elders sit, vendors call. Silence fills between. The plazas breathe in cadence, resembling one another yet distinct in detail. They are not novelty. They are persistence of form. The avenues of Buenos Aires vary in breadth. Some, like Avenida 9 de Julio, expand in monumental width with multiple lanes, medians planted with trees, monuments rising in constancy. Others, like Avenida de Mayo or Avenida Corrientes, align in narrower order, facades repeating in sequence. Shops opening in rhythm. Smaller streets soften grid with shade of plane trees, jacarandas, or tipas. Together, avenues and streets form cadence of circulation. The boulevards extend with trees in rows, dividing lanes, shading sidewalks. Palermo and Recoleta contain many, their branches forming tunnels of shadow and light. In spring, jacarandas bloom in violet, blossoms falling in constancy, sidewalks covered in petals. In summer, shade persists. In autumn, leaves scatter in cycles. Seasons alter appearance, but rhythm remains. The parks punctuate geography. Park Tres de Febrero with its lakes and roses, Park Lizama with slopes and trees, Plaza Francia with artisans on weekends. Each park distinct, yet each dissolves into cadence. Lawns extend, paths curve, benches align. Families gather, visitors stroll, silence spreads between. The parks breathe in rhythm, unbroken. The topography of Buenos Aires is flat. Unlike other cities, no hills or mountains define its form. The land slopes gently toward river, streets aligned in constancy, horizons low. This flatness contributes to breadth, avenues extending, buildings rising, trees aligned. The city does not vary in altitude. It persists in horizontal rhythm. The climate shapes daily rhythm. Summer's warm, sunlight strong, air humid. Winter's mild with cool winds, skies often clear. Spring brings jacaranda blossoms, autumn golden leaves. Seasons repeat, yet the city endures in constancy. Rain falls in intervals, storms pass, sun returns. The rhythm is not chaos, it is cycle. The transportation grid overlays geography. Subways extend in lines, trains radiate from central stations, buses move in constancy along avenues. Movements repeat, arrivals, departures, pauses, continuations. Stations align in sequence, platforms mirror one another, passengers flow in rhythm. The city circulates in cadence, unbroken. From above, Buenos Aires appears as pattern. Streets aligned in squares, plazas punctuating in constancy, avenues cutting diagonals. Buildings repeat in height, trees form green patches, river borders east. The impression is not variety. It is geometry softened into order. From within, the structure dissolves into daily rhythm. Streets filled with footsteps, shops opening in intervals, cafes setting tables in sequence. Traffic flows in cycles, signals change in constancy, bells ring from churches. The grid breathes as cadence, not spectacle. The Rio de la Plata remains constant presence. Winds move across, waves shimmer, ships pass. The city aligns with river, yet also turns inward, its plazas, avenues, and neighborhoods repeating across land. Together, river and grid define Buenos Aires, breadth and geometry, water and stone, constancy and rhythm. For the observer, geography and structure of Buenos Aires are calm when seen in cadence. River does not overwhelm, it persists. Streets do not dazzle. They align, plazas do not vary, they repeat. Each impression mirrors the others, each rhythm endures. And so, geography becomes another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. River is not chaos. It is expanse. Grid is not spectacle. It is constancy. Plazas are not novelty. They are repetition. In repetition lies calm. In calm lies rest. At the center of Buenos Aires lies Plaza de Mayo, the oldest square of the city, where history, architecture, and rhythm converge. Its geometry is simple, a rectangle framed by buildings, trees planted in rows, paths crossing in order. Statues punctuate in constancy, benches align, pigeons move in cycles. The plaza is not spectacle but cadence. Step after step, shadow after shadow, façade after façade. The Casa Rosada, seat of government, stands on the eastern side. Its walls painted in pale pink, its windows aligned in symmetry, its arcades opening in repetition. Balconies extend above, doors frame entrances, flags rise in constancy. History unfolded here, speeches delivered, crowds gathered, silence returning, yet the building itself persists in geometry. Columns repeat, arches align, domes crown. The Casa Rosada is not chaos, it is order softened by color. On the northern side rises the Metropolitan Cathedral. Its facade neoclassical, with 12 columns aligned, a pediment above, statues arranged in constancy. The appearance resembles a Roman temple more than a typical church. Inside, chapels align in sequence, domes painted, icons glowing. Silence fills between prayers, lamps flicker in intervals, rituals unfold in cadence. The cathedral breathes in constancy, devotion persisting across centuries. Opposite stands the Cabildo, the old town hall of colonial times. Its white facade simple, arches aligned in sequence, bell tower rising in modest geometry. Once center of government, now museum, it persists as memory. Walls preserved, halls quiet, exhibitions displayed in order. Visitors walk in cycles, enter, observe, depart. The Cabildo does not dazzle. It endures in rhythm of history. In the center of the plaza stands the Pyramid of May, a white obelisk marking independence. Its form geometric, its base surrounded by iron fence, its presence constant. Around it, paths curve in circles, benches align, trees cast shadows. Visitors sit, pigeons gather, silence alternates with voices. The monument does not overwhelm, it repeats. The trees of Plaza de Mayo provide shade. Tipes and jacarandas planted in rows, their branches extending in constancy, their leaves rustling in rhythm. In spring, blossoms fall, sidewalks covered in petals. In summer, shade persists, in autumn, leaves scatter. Seasons alter appearance, yet rhythm remains. The sound of the plaza is subdued when heard in cadence. Bells ring from cathedral, voices drift from crowds, pigeons flutter in intervals. Cars pass along surrounding streets, footsteps echo on pavements, silence fills between. The impression is not noise but rhythm, history unfolded here in cycles. Colonial processions, independence declared, demonstrations repeated. Crowds gathered in constancy, banners raised, chants rising and fading. Decades passed, governments changed, yet plaza remained. Buildings restored, trees replanted, monuments preserved. Plaza de Mayo does not alter in essence, it repeats. The geometry of the square reinforces rhythm. Paths crossing diagonally, benches aligned, statues placed. Each element mirrors another, each impression resembles the next. Visitors enter from different streets, yet all converge in cadence. At twilight, lamps glow, facades illuminated, shadows soften. Casa Rosada glows in pink light, cathedral outlined in gold, cabildo in white. Pigeons settle, voices fade, silence spreads. Night does not disrupt rhythm, it sustains. For the observer, Plaza de Mayo is calm when seen in cadence. Government House does not overwhelm. It aligns. Cathedral does not dazzle, it repeats. Cabildo does not vary, it persists. Each impression mirrors the others, each rhythm endures. And so, Plaza de Mayo becomes another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Plaza is not chaos, it is geometry. Buildings are not spectacle. They are constancy. History is not novelty. It is repetition. In repetition lies calm. In calm lies rest. From Plaza de Mayo, the avenue that bears its name extends westward in symmetry. Avenida de Mayo unfolds in order, facades aligned, domes punctuating skyline, cafés repeating along sidewalks. Built at the end of the 19th century, it was conceived as Boulevard of Elegance, linking political center at Plaza de Mayo with Congress at the opposite end. Its length is not only measure of distance, but rhythm of facades, rhythm of cafes, rhythm of lamps glowing at intervals. The architecture reveals European influence. Along the avenue, styles repeat. Art Nouveau curves, neoclassical columns, eclectic ornament. Balconies align in sequences, iron railings repeating, windows framed with arches. Domes crown corners, towers rise in constancy, details carved in stone. Each building distinct, yet together forming cadence of boulevard. Walking along Avenida de Mayo is not spectacle but geometry, facade after facade, shadow after shadow. Among the most notable structures stands the Palacio Barolo, completed in 1923. Its design inspired by the Divine Comedy, with floors divided into sections of hell, purgatory, and heaven. The tower rises above avenue, crowned with lighthouse once shining over city. Its details are dense, arches, columns, sculptures aligned in order. Visitors ascend, view extending across Buenos Aires and constancy. The building is not chaos. It is rhythm shaped in stone. The cafés of Avenida de Mayo persist as part of identity. Café Tortoni, opened in 1858, remains emblematic. Inside, mirrors align in walls, tables arranged in rows, lamps glowing in intervals. Paintings hang in sequence, chairs upholstered in leather, silence alternating with low conversations. Writers and musicians once gathered here, yet today the rhythm is unchanged. Coffee served in cups, pastries arranged, conversations drifting. Tortoni does not dazzle. It endures. Other cafes repeat pattern. Lost 36 Billers with billiard tables in constancy. London City with windows facing avenue. Each offers similar geometry. Chairs in rows, tables aligned, cups placed, spoons stirring. Visitors enter, pause, converse, depart. The rhythm of cafe life persists unbroken. The trees of the avenue line sidewalks, casting shadows in cycles. Branches extend above traffic, leaves rustle in rhythm. In spring, jacarandas bloom in violet, blossoms covering pavement. In summer, shade endures. In autumn, leaves scatter. Seasons alter surface, but rhythm remains. Traffic flows in constancy. Cars move in lanes, buses stop at intervals, pedestrians cross in cycles. Lights change in order, red to green, green to red. Movements repeat unbroken, boulevard breathing in cadence. The monuments punctuate rhythm. Statues aligned at corners, fountains placed in plazas, lamps glowing in intervals. At one end, Plaza de Mayo. At the other, Plaza del Congreso. Between them, architecture and rhythm continue. The sound of Avenida de Mayo is subdued when perceived in cadence. Engines hum in intervals. Footsteps echo on pavement, voices drift from cafes. Bells ring from churches nearby, music faint from instruments. Silence fills between. Noise becomes rhythm, rhythm dissolves into calm. History unfolded along this avenue. Demonstrations, parades, processions. Crowds gathered, banners raised, chants rising and fading, yet avenue persisted. Buildings restored, cafes reopened, domes repainted, the rhythm unbroken. By day, facades glow in sunlight. White stone reflects, domes shine, shadows fall in order. By twilight, lamps glow, windows illuminated, reflections ripple. Night does not disrupt cadence, it sustains. From one end to the other, Avenida de Mayo is geometry extended. Streets crossing at intervals, facades aligned in rows, towers punctuating horizon. Each element resembles the others, each rhythm endures. For the observer, Avenida de Mayo is calm when seen in cadence. Architecture does not overwhelm. It aligns. Cafes do not dazzle, they repeat. Movement does not vary. It persists. Each impression mirrors the others, each rhythm endures. And so Avenida de Mayo becomes another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Boulevard is not chaos, it is geometry. Buildings are not spectacle, they are constancy. Cafes are not novelty, they are persistence. In persistence lies calm, in calm lies rest. South of the historic core lies San Telmo, one of the oldest neighborhoods of Buenos Aires. Its streets are narrow, paved in cobblestones, its houses aligned in colonial rhythm, its plazas opening in measured constancy. The barrio is not spectacle but cadence. Facade after facade, arch after arch, shadow after shadow. The streets of San Telmo preserve geometry of past centuries. Cobblestones laid in sequence, facades painted in muted tones, doors and windows framed in iron. Balconies extend with railings, vines climb in cycles, shutters close in repetition. Light falls unevenly, shadows stretch across walls, footsteps echo in constancy. Each detail resembles another, each impression endures. The houses align in colonial style, thick walls painted white or pastel, doors opening to courtyards, windows narrow. Within, patios arranged around trees, fountains placed in center, silence preserved by high walls. Rooms open in sequence, arches curve in rhythm, tiles repeat in patterns. Life unfolded here in cycles, meals prepared, conversations drifting, silence returning. Houses do not dazzle, they persist. The Plaza of San Telmo, Plaza Dorrego, is framed by bars, cafes, and antique shops. Trees shade in symmetry, benches placed in sequence, lamps glow in intervals. On weekends, markets unfold. Stalls align in rows, objects displayed, furniture, books, mirrors, photographs. Each item a fragment of past, preserved in rhythm, sold and resold in cycles. Visitors move in cadence, pause, observe, continue. The market breathes repetition, not spectacle. The cafes of San Telmo continue tradition. Tables set in rows, chairs arranged in constancy, mirrors reflecting light. Patrons converse in subdued tones, cups placed, spoons stirred. In some, music drifts from guitars or bandoneons, notes repeating in rhythm. Cafes do not dazzle, they endure. The churches punctuate barrio. The parish of San Pedro Tomo rises in white facade, its dome modest, its bell tower simple. Inside, chapels align, icons glow, silence persists. Bells ring in intervals, prayers unfold in cadence, devotion unbroken. The church does not overwhelm, it repeats. The markets of San Telmo extend beyond Plaza Dorrego. The covered San Telmo market preserves 19th century structure. Iron beams arch overhead, stalls align in rows, goods displayed, vegetables, meats, antiques, fabrics. Light filters through glass roof, footsteps echo, voices drift. The market breathes in rhythm, day after day. The murals and urban art of San Telmo add another cadence. Walls painted in colors, figures repeating, symbols aligned. Each mural distinct, yet together forming rhythm of surfaces. Streets narrow, walls painted, impressions dissolving into persistence. The sound of San Telmo is subdued. Footsteps on cobblestones, voices from cafes, bells from churches, music from guitars. Silence fills between, wind moves through alleys, pigeons flutter in plazas. The impression is calm, soporifero, unbroken. History shapes San Telmo in continuity. Once a settlement of wealthy families, later affected by epidemics, its houses transformed, immigrants arriving. Over time, artists, musicians, and markets repopulated streets. Earthquakes and floods passed, restorations followed, yet barrio persisted. San Telmo does not alter in essence, it repeats. By day, sunlight illuminates cobblestones, facades glow, markets active. By twilight, lamps glow in cafes, plazas quiet, silence spreads. Night does not disrupt rhythm, it sustains. From above, San Telmo appears as pattern of narrow streets, tiled roofs, plazas punctuating. From within, it softens into cadence, step after step, shadow after shadow, repetition unbroken. For the observer, San Telmo is calm when seen in rhythm. Streets do not overwhelm. They align, houses do not dazzle, they repeat, markets do not vary. They persist. Each impression mirrors the others, each rhythm endures. And so San Telmo becomes another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Streets are not chaos, they are geometry. Houses are not novelty, they are constancy. Markets are not spectacle, they are persistence, and persistence lies calm. In calm lies rest. South of San Telmo, where the Riachuelo meets the Rio de la Plata, lies La Boca, a barrio shaped by water docks and immigrant memory. Its streets open in constancy, its facades painted in bright tones, its atmosphere preserved in cadence. The neighborhood is not spectacle, but rhythm. Door after door, balcony after balcony, color after color. The geography of La Boca reflects its origins. Once marshland, it became home to Italian immigrants, many from Genoa, who settled near docks. Houses were built with wood and sheet metal, painted with leftover ship paint. Colors varied, surfaces patched, yet rhythm emerged. blue beside yellow, red beside green, balconies aligned in repetition. Over time, this improvisation became identity, a geometry of color. At the heart of La Boca lies Caminito, a short street transformed into open-air museum. Facades painted in vivid hues, windows framed in contrast, balconies adorned with figures. Murals depict tango, ships, and daily life. Sculptures repeat, representing musicians, dancers, or historical figures. Visitors walk in cadence, step, pause, observe, continue. The impression is not chaos, it is persistence of color and form. The houses of La Boca align in modest scale. Walls of wood, roofs of tin, balconies narrow. Stairs ascend in repetition, railings painted in bright tones. Courtyards enclosed, clothes hanging in cycles, shadows falling in rhythm. Life persists in cadence, meals prepared, conversations drifting, silence filling between. The houses do not dazzle. They endure. The Riachuelo flows beside Barrio. Waters brown, docks aligned, boats moored in constancy. Cranes rise in silhouette, warehouses line shore, reflections ripple. The river is not spectacle. It is persistence of labor and commerce. Along its edge, industries once thrived, workers arriving in cycles, goods departing. Today, some docks restored, others silent, yet rhythm remains. The stadium of Boca Juniors, La Bombonera, rises near Caminito. Its walls painted blue and yellow, its form geometric, its terraces aligned. On match days, chants echo in cadence, voices rising and falling, drums beating in intervals. Silence returns after stadium standing in constancy. The building is not chaos. It is rhythm of devotion to sport. The sound of La Boca is subdued when heard in cadence. Music drifts from guitars and bandoneons. Footsteps echo on cobblestones. Voices of vendors repeat. Bells ring from churches. Gulls call above river. Silence fills between. The barrio breathes in rhythm, unbroken. The murals and art of La Boca extend beyond Caminito. Walls painted with ships, workers, tango dancers. Figures large, colors bold, compositions aligned in geometry. Art repeats across surfaces, transforming barrio into gallery. Each wall distinct, yet all dissolve into rhythm of paint and memory. History shaped La Boca in continuity. Immigrants arrived, houses built, docks active. Epidemics passed, crises came, yet barrio endured. Artists later celebrated its identity, preserving Caminito, restoring houses. La Boca does not alter in essence, it repeats. By day, facades glow in sunlight, colors bright, shadows sharp. By twilight, lamps glow, murals soften, reflections ripple on river. Night does not disrupt rhythm, it sustains. From above, La Boca appears as patchwork of colors, roofs aligned, streets narrow. From within, it dissolves into cadence, step after step, facade after facade, balcony after balcony. The impression is not variety. It is constancy softened in color. For the observer, La Boca is calm when seen in cadence. Colors do not overwhelm. They align. Streets do not dazzle. They repeat. River does not vary. It persists. Each impression mirrors the others. Each rhythm endures. And so, La Boca becomes another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Barrio is not chaos. It is geometry. Color is not novelty. It is constancy. River is not spectacle. It is persistence. In persistence lies calm. In calm lies rest. North of the historic center, extending in quiet geometry, lies Palermo Viejo, today also known by subdivisions such as Palermo Soho. The barrio unfolds in cadence, streets shaded by trees, houses of modest scale, cafes aligned in corners, shops repeating along sidewalks. The impression is not spectacle but rhythm. Door after door, branch after branch, table after table. The streets of Palermo Viejo are narrow, paved in stone or asphalt, their lines softened by trees. Plane trees and tipas form canopies above. Jacarandas bloom in spring with violet flowers falling in cycles. Sidewalks shaded, light filtering in constancy, shadows stretching in rhythm. Houses align along streets, some colonial, others from 20th century, facades simple, balconies modest. Each block resembles the next, each impression repeats. The houses of Palermo Viejo preserve memory of past. Many 1 or 2 stories, walls painted in muted tones, doors opening to courtyards. Some converted into shops, others into cafes or galleries, yet structures remain. Courtyards shaded, tiles repeating in patterns, windows framed in iron. Life unfolds in cadence, meals prepared, conversations drifting, silence filling between. In the last decades, many buildings adapted, forming Palermo Soho. Shops opened, restaurants aligned, cafes multiplied, yet rhythm persisted. Tables placed on sidewalks, chairs arranged in constancy, menus repeating familiar forms. Visitors pause, sit, converse, depart. The cadence of cafe life continues unbroken. The cafes define Palermo Soho's atmosphere. Inside, tables align in rows, lamps glow in intervals, mirrors reflect. Outside, chairs extend on the sidewalks, shade from trees above. Cups served in cycles, spoons stirred, pastries placed. Conversations drift, footsteps echo, silence fills between. Each cafe resembles the next, each impression endures. The shops of Palermo Soho display in cadence. Clothes hung in rows, books arranged on shelves, objects placed on tables. Windows reflect trees, facades simple, doors opening in repetition. Visitors enter, observe, continue. Commerce breathes in rhythm, not spectacle. The plazas punctuate barrio. Plaza Serrano or Plaza Cortazar, framed by bars and shops, trees shading in symmetry, benches placed in sequence. On weekends, artisans display work, paintings, jewelry, fabrics. Stalls aligned in rows, colors repeating, conversations drifting. The plaza breathes in cadence, resembling markets of other barrios, yet persisting in its own rhythm. The sound of Palermo Viejo is subdued. Birds in trees, footsteps on stone, voices from cafes, music from guitars. Cars pass in intervals, bells ring from churches, silence fills between. The impression is calm, soporifero, unbroken. At twilight, lamps glow along sidewalks, windows illuminated, cafes filled. Trees darken into silhouettes, conversations soften, silence spreads, night does not disrupt rhythm, it sustains. History shaped Palermo Viejo in continuity. Once an area of modest houses, later transformed by commerce, then by artists and designers. Change occurred in cycles, yet essence remained. Streets shaded, houses aligned, cafes repeating. Palermo Viejo does not alter in essence. It repeats. From above, the barrio appears as pattern of streets shaded by trees, houses low, plazas punctuating. From within, it dissolves into cadence. Step after step, branch after branch, table after table. The impression is not variety. It is persistence softened into calm. For the observer, Palermo Viejo and Palermo Soho are calm when seen in rhythm. Streets do not overwhelm, they align. Cafes do not dazzle, they repeat. Shops do not vary, they persist. Each impression mirrors the others, each rhythm endures. And so, Palermo Viejo becomes another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Barrio is not chaos, it is geometry. Cafes are not novelty, they are constancy. Shops are not spectacle, they are persistence. In persistence lies calm, in calm lies rest. At the northern edge of the city extends Palermo, and within it the largest concentration of parks and gardens in Buenos Aires. Designed in the 19th century and expanded over decades, The parks unfold in symmetry. Paths curve in constancy, lakes shimmer, repetition, trees align in rows. The impression is not spectacle, but cadence. Branch after branch, bench after bench, reflection after reflection. The Parque Tres de Febrero, also known as the Bosques de Palermo, forms the core. Its geometry is vast, lawns extending in order, lakes reflecting sky, paths crossing in rhythm. Bridges arch in symmetry, boats glide in cycles, trees shade in constancy. Families stroll, couples sit, children play. Each movement mirrors another, each gesture repeats. The park breathes in cadence. The rose garden, or rosedal, lies within. Paths lined with arches, roses planted in rows, colors arranged in sequences of red, pink, and white. Pergolas covered with vines, fountains placed in symmetry, benches aligned. Visitors walk in rhythm, pausing at flowers, continuing in cycles. The garden is not chaos. It is geometry softened to fragrance. The lakes of Palermo reflect trees and sky. Boats rowed in constancy, ripples spreading in circles, reflections dissolving into shimmer. Ducks move in sequences, reeds sway in rhythm, wind passes across surface. The impression is calm, soporiferous, unbroken. The planetarium Galileo Galilei rises near lakes, its dome spherical, its surface patterned in geometry. By day, sunlight reflects. By night, lights glow in constancy. Inside, stars projected in cycles, constellations traced, silence filling between. The planetarium does not dazzle. It persists as cadence of science and sky. The Japanese garden, constructed with precision, aligns water, bridges, and plants in order. Ponds shimmer with koi fish, stones placed in sequences, lanterns rising in symmetry. Trees pruned in rhythm, paths curving in constancy, silence spreading. Visitors enter, walk in cycles, pause at ponds, continue. The impression is not novelty, it is persistence of tradition. The botanical garden extends with species from many regions. Paths shaded by trees, statues aligned, greenhouses framed in iron and glass. Plants arranged in sequences, labels repeating, flowers blooming in cycles. Silence dominates, footsteps softened, air filled with scent. The garden breathes in rhythm of seasons. The sound of Palermo parks is subdued. Birds call in intervals, footsteps echo on gravel, water flows in fountains. Voices drift in distance, bicycles pass in cycles, silence fills between. Noise becomes rhythm, rhythm dissolves into calm. At twilight, lamps glow along paths, reflections ripple on lakes, trees darken into silhouettes. Families depart, benches empty, silence spreads. Night does not disrupt rhythm. It sustains. History shaped these parks as continuity. Conceived by President Sarmiento in 19th century, designed by landscape architects such as Charles Thais, they preserved geometry of European models while adapting to Buenos Aires climate. Decades passed, trees grew, lawns were planted, yet rhythm endured. Parks do not alter in essence. They repeat. From above, Palermo appears as mosaic of green, lakes reflecting, paths curving in order. From within, it dissolves into cadence. Step after step, bench after bench, reflection after reflection. The impression is not variety. It is constancy softened into calm. For the observer, the parks of Palermo are calm when seen in rhythm. Lakes do not dazzle, they repeat. Roses do not overwhelm. They align. Trees do not vary, they persist. Each impression mirrors the others. Each rhythm endures. And so, Palermo's parks become another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Nature here is not chaos. It is geometry. Gardens are not spectacle. They are constancy. Lakes are not novelty. They are repetition. And repetition lies calm. And calm lies rest. North of the city center, where avenues broaden and facades align in European style, lies Recoleta, a barrio of constancy and refinement. Its streets open in order, its plazas shaded, its buildings tall yet measured. The neighborhood is not spectacle but cadence. Dome after dome, column after column, shadow after shadow. At its heart stands the Recoleta Cemetery, one of the most distinctive spaces of Buenos Aires. Entering, one finds not open ground, but a city of tombs. Mausoleums rise in marble, doors framed in bronze, crosses aligned above. Paths extend in grids, names inscribed in constancy, statues placed in rhythm. Angels stand in silence, urns repeat, lamps flicker. Each tomb distinct, yet together forming cadence of memory. The cemetery does not dazzle, it endures. Among the tombs lies that of Eva Peron, whose presence draws visitors in constancy. The mausoleum is modest compared to others, yet flowers placed in repetition, names inscribed, silence persistent. Visitors arrive, pause, reflect, depart. The rhythm unbroken. The architecture of Recoleta reflects European influence. Buildings constructed in French academic style, facades adorned with columns, balconies aligned in iron, hotels, embassies, and apartments line avenues, their forms repeating. Domes crown corners, towers rise, details carved in stone. Walking through Recoleta is not spectacle but geometry, façade after façade, shadow after shadow. The avenues frame barrio. Avenida Alvear extends in symmetry, its sidewalks shaded by trees, its buildings aligned in constancy. Embassies and hotels line street, shops display in rhythm. Avenida del Libertador broadens further, traffic flowing in cycles, trees planted in rows. The avenues breathe in cadence, unbroken. The plazas open as pauses. Plaza Francia, framed by museums and libraries, trees shading in constancy, artisans displaying on weekends. Stalls aligned in rows, crafts repeating, conversations drifting. Nearby, Plaza Mayor and Plaza Intendenta Alvear extend with benches, statues, and lawns. Each plaza resembles another, each impression persists. The Centro Cultural Recoleta stands near cemetery. Once convent, later cultural center, its courtyards and halls host exhibitions, concerts, and gatherings. Walls painted, spaces arranged, light filtering in. Visitors move in cadence, enter, observe, continue. The center is not spectacle. It is persistence of culture. Nearby rises the National Museum of Fine Arts, its facade modest, its collections broad. Rooms align in sequence, paintings displayed in constancy, sculptures placed in order. Visitors walk in silence, observing works in rhythm. The museum breathes in cadence, not novelty. The sound of Recoleta is subdued. Footsteps echo in cemetery, voices drift in plazas, bells ring from churches, leaves rustle in trees. Cars pass along avenues in intervals, silence fills between. Noise becomes rhythm, rhythm dissolves into calm. At twilight, lamps glow along avenues, cemetery quiets, plazas empty. Buildings illuminated, domes outlined, reflections softening. Night does not disrupt rhythm. It sustains. History shaped Recoleta in continuity. Once farmland, later home to convent, then neighborhood of elites. Over centuries, houses built, cemeteries expanded, avenues designed. Crises passed, yet buildings restored, plazas replanted, museums preserved. Recoleta does not alter in essence, it repeats. From above, Recoleta appears as order of domes, avenues, and plazas. From within, it dissolves into cadence, tomb after tomb, facade after facade, shadow after shadow. The impression is not variety, it is persistence softened into calm. For the observer, Recoleta is calm when seen in rhythm. Cemetery does not overwhelm. It aligns. Avenues do not dazzle, they repeat. Buildings do not vary, they persist. Each impression mirrors the others, each rhythm endures. And so Recoleta becomes another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Barrio is not chaos, it is geometry. Cemetery is not spectacle, it is constancy. Architecture is not novelty. It is persistence, and persistence lies calm. And calm lies rest. To the north of the city center, extending between broad avenues and tree-lined streets, lies Belgrano, a barrio of residential calm, plazas and constancy, and architecture that blends modest houses with modern towers. Its rhythm is not spectacle, but order softened by trees, repetition, and silence. Step after step, block after block, façade after façade. The streets of Belgrano are wide, shaded by plane trees and tipas. Their branches extend overhead in constancy, forming tunnels of shadow and light. Sidewalks broad, facades modest, doors opening to gardens or courtyards. Houses align in sequence, many built in late 19th century, others in 20th, some replaced by taller buildings. Yet rhythm remains, balcony after balcony, shadow after shadow, tree after tree. At the heart of Barrio stands Plaza Manuel Belgrano, framed by church, museum, and market. Trees planted in rows, benches aligned, paths crossing in symmetry. On weekends, artisans display crafts, stalls arranged in constancy, visitors pausing, observing, continuing. Children play, elders sit, conversations drift, silence fills between. The plaza breathes in cadence, not spectacle. Beside Plaza rises the Iglesia de la Inmaculada Concepción, known as La Redonda for its circular form. Its columns align in neoclassical geometry, its dome rises in constancy, its doors open to quiet interior. Lamps flicker, icons glow, silence persists. Bells ring in intervals, rituals unfold in rhythm, devotion unbroken. The church does not dazzle, it endures. Nearby, the Museo de Arte Especial Enrique Larreta preserves memory of literature and art, once residence, today museum. Its rooms align in order, its courtyard shaded, its garden arranged in symmetry of Spanish style. Visitors move in cadence, enter, observe, depart. The museum is not spectacle, it is persistence of memory. The Barrancas de Belgrano, sloping park, designed by landscape architect Charles Days, extend with paths, lawns, and trees. Steps ascend in rhythm, benches placed in constancy, lamps glowing in intervals. By day, children play, elders sit, students gather. By twilight, lamps glow, silence spreads, trees darken into silhouettes, the park breathes in cadence, unbroken. The Chinatown of Buenos Aires lies nearby along Arbelos Street. Shops align in sequence, red arches marking entrance, lanterns glowing in constancy. Stalls display goods, restaurants serve meals. Visitors move in cadence, enter, taste, continue. The presence is not chaos, but rhythm softened by repetition. The avenues of Belgrano define its breadth. Avenida Cabildo extends in length, shops and buses repeating in cycles. Traffic flows in constancy, pedestrians crossing in intervals, lights changing in order. Buildings rise along avenue, towers and houses side by side, facades aligning. The avenue breathes in cadence, not variety. The sound of Belgrano is subdued. Birds in trees, footsteps on sidewalks, voices from markets, bells from churches. Cars passing in intervals, buses halting in cycles, silence filling between. Noise becomes rhythm, rhythm dissolves into calm. History shaped Belgrano in continuity. Once a separate town, later annexed to Buenos Aires, it preserved plazas, churches, and houses. Immigration brought new residents, commerce grew, yet rhythm endured. Earthquakes and crises passed, restorations followed, life continued. Belgrano does not alter in essence, it repeats. By day, streets glow in sunlight, plazas active, trees casting shade. By twilight, lamps glow in constancy, facades illuminated, silence spreading. Night does not disrupt rhythm. It sustains. From above, Belgrano appears as pattern of plazas, parks, and streets shaded by trees. From within, it dissolves into cadence, house after house, bench after bench, tree after tree. The impression is not variety, it is persistence softened into calm. For the observer, Belgrano is calm when seen in rhythm. Streets do not overwhelm, they align. Plazas do not dazzle, they repeat. Houses do not vary, they persist. Each impression mirrors the others, each rhythm endures. And so, Belgrano becomes another chapter in Buenos Aires' rhythm. Barrio is not chaos. It is geometry. Plazas are not novelty, they are constancy. Houses are not spectacle, they are persistence, and persistence lies calm. And calm lies rest. At the geometric center of Buenos Aires rises the obelisk, slender and vertical, framed by the breadth of Avenida 9 de Julio. Together, they define not spectacle, but rhythm, monument standing in constancy, avenue extending in repetition, traffic flowing in cycles, step after step, lane after lane, light after light. The obelisk, constructed in 1936 to commemorate the 4th centenary of the city's first foundation, is simple in form. White stone rises in vertical line, its four sides equal, its summit pointed. From below, it appears monumental yet measured, its geometry unbroken. Inscriptions carved in constancy mark historic events, plaques aligned at base. Visitors pause, photograph, depart. The obelisk does not dazzle, it persists in rhythm. Surrounding it, Avenida 9 de Julio extends in breadth. Considered one of the widest avenues in the world, it crosses city from north to south in symmetry. Multiple lanes arranged in order, medians planted with trees, lamps aligned in rows. Traffic flows in constancy, buses, cars, motorcycles. Lights change in cycles, red to green, green to red. Movements repeat unbroken. The avenue breathes in cadence. Along its sides, buildings rise in varied styles. Rationless towers, modern glass, historic facades. Windows aligned, doors framed, signs repeating. At night, lights glow in constancy, billboards illuminated, reflections cast on pavement. Buildings do not overwhelm. They align in rhythm of avenue. The Plaza de la República surrounds the obelisk. Lawns arranged in geometry, paths crossing in symmetry, flags waving in constancy. Visitors sit on benches, voices drifting, silence filling between. The plaza breathes as pause amid movement. Further along, monuments punctuate avenue. Statue of Don Quixote, sculptures aligned, fountains repeating. Each placed in order, each resembling others, each persisting unbroken. The avenue does not dazzle, it endures. The subway passes below, lines intersecting, stations opening in cadence. Passengers ascend and descend, footsteps echo, announcements repeat. Movements mirror traffic above, cycles of departure and arrival. Subway is not chaos, it is geometry beneath geometry. The sound of Avenida 9 de Julio is subdued when heard in cadence. Engines hum in intervals, horns sound in repetition, footsteps echo in crossings. Bells ring from churches nearby, voices drift, silence fills between. Noise becomes rhythm, rhythm dissolves into calm. At twilight, lamps glow along avenue, headlights align in streams, obelisk illuminated. Shadows soften, colors shift, reflections shimmer. Night does not disrupt rhythm, it sustains. History unfolded here in cycles. Avenue conceived in early 20th century, constructed over decades, widened in repetition. Buildings demolished, lanes added, trees replanted. Crises passed, yet avenue persisted. Obelisk restored, plaques replaced, plaza renewed. The rhythm unbroken. From above, Avenida 9 de Julio appears as band of light and movement. Lanes extending in constancy, trees dividing, lamps aligned. From within, it dissolves into cadence. Car after car, step after step, signal after signal. The impression is not variety. It is persistent softened to geometry. For the observer, the obelisk and Avenida de Mayo are calm when seen in rhythm. Monument does not overwhelm. It aligns. Avenue does not dazzle. It repeats. Traffic does not vary. It persists. Each impression mirrors the others. Each rhythm endures. And so the obelisk and Avenida de Mayo become another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Monument is not chaos. It is geometry. Avenue is not spectacle. It is constancy. Traffic is not novelty. It is persistence. In persistence lies calm. In calm lies rest. East of the historic center, bordering the Rio de la Plata, lies Puerto Madero, a barrio reshaped in cycles of abandonment and renewal. Once docks for commerce, later warehouses and disuse, today it extends as a district of modern towers, wide walkways, and restored brick facades. The impression is not spectacle but cadence. Dock after dock, bridge after bridge, tower after tower. The docks define Puerto Madero. 4 parallel basins built in 19th century extend in constancy. Along their edges, warehouses once aligned in red brick, windows repeating, doors opening to cranes and ships. Today, many converted into offices, restaurants, and residences. Their facades preserved, their interiors adapted, their rhythm unbroken. Along docks, walkways paved in stone, benches placed in sequence, lamps glowing in intervals. Visitors stroll, cyclists pass, silence fills between. The bridges cross in geometry. The most distinctive, Puente de Mujer, designed by Santiago Calatrava, curves in white arc across dock. Its form resembles harp or sail, its surface reflecting light by day, glowing by night. Pedestrians cross in constancy, steps echoing, water reflecting. The bridge does not dazzle. It aligns with rhythm of dock. The towers rise in repetition along eastern side. Glass facades reflect river and sky, their surfaces aligned in vertical constancy. Apartments, offices, hotels' functions vary, yet forms repeat. Windows arranged in grids, lights glowing in sequences, silhouettes forming skyline. Towers do not overwhelm. They persist as cadence of modernity. The parks punctuate district. Lawns extending, trees planted in rows, sculptures placed in symmetry. Families gather in constancy, children play, footsteps echo, silence spreads between. Parks breathe in rhythm, softening geometry of towers and docks. The Rio de la Plata borders east. Waters broad, horizon dissolving, ships crossing in cycles. Along Costanera, paths extend, benches aligned, lamps glowing in intervals. Wind moves across surface, gulls circle, reflections ripple. River persists in cadence, unbroken. The sound of Puerto Madero is subdued. Footsteps echo on stone, bicycles pass in intervals, voices drift from restaurants, gulls call above. Water laps in docks, wind moves in trees. Silence fills between. Noise becomes rhythm. Rhythm dissolves into calm. At twilight, lights glow along docks. Lamps reflect in water, facades illuminated, towers shimmering, bridge outlined in white, river darkening, silence spreading. Night does not disrupt rhythm. It sustains. History shaped Puerto Madero in cycles. Conceived in late 19th century to modernize port, it soon became obsolete, replaced by larger facilities. Warehouses abandoned, area fell into disuse, silence persisted. In late 20th century, restoration began. Docks preserved, facades adapted, towers constructed. Today, Puerto Madero endures as symbol of renewal, yet rhythm remains, dock after dock, facade after facade. From above, Puerto Madero appears as order of basins, bridges, and towers. From within, it dissolves into cadence, step after step, light after light, reflection after reflection. The impression is not variety, it is persistence softened into geometry. For the observer, Puerto Madero is calm when seen in rhythm. Docks do not overwhelm, they align. Bridges do not dazzle, they repeat. Towers do not vary, they persist. Each impression mirrors the others, each rhythm endures. And so, Puerto Madero becomes another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Docks are not chaos. They are geometry. Bridges are not novelty. They are constancy. Towers are not spectacle. They are persistence. In persistence lies calm. In calm lies rest. In the heart of Buenos Aires, near Avenida 9 de Julio, rises the Teatro Colón, one of the city's most enduring monuments to culture. Its presence is measured, its geometry aligned, its history unbroken by time. The theater is not spectacle, but cadence. Column after column, arch after arch, note after note. The façade of the Teatro Colón reveals classical order. Constructed in stone, its surfaces carved in detail, its windows aligned in sequence, its arches repeated across levels. Balconies project in constancy, statues punctuate edges, lamps glow in intervals. By day, light softens facade. By night, illumination outlines geometry. The theater does not dazzle. It persists. Inside, the main hall unfolds in grandeur yet measured repetition. 7 levels of boxes rise in arcs, seats aligned in sequence, balconies framed in gold. The dome painted with frescoes, lamps suspended in constancy, curtains falling in velvet. The stage extends in depth, its machinery hidden, its surfaces aligned. The hall does not overwhelm. It breathes in rhythm. The acoustics of Teatro Colón are renowned. Sound carries impurity, each note repeating without distortion, each phrase sustained. Silence fills between, pauses echo, breath persists. Music unfolds in cadence, neither rushed nor chaotic, but ordered in rhythm of composition. Backstage, the workshops sustain theater's rhythm. Costumes sewn in sequence, sets painted in detail, instruments tuned in constancy. Artisans move in cycles, hands repeating gestures, materials transformed. The process does not dazzle, it endures. The programs of Teatro Colón span opera, ballet, symphonic concerts. Works of Verdi, Wagner, Puccini performed in cycles, dancers repeating steps, orchestras sustaining cadence. Audiences arrive, sit, listen, depart. Performances change, yet rhythm persists. Curtain rising, music unfolding, curtain falling. The sound of theater is subdued outside performance. Footsteps echo on marble, whispers drift, lamps hum faintly. During music, sound fills hall, notes aligning in constancy, silence persisting between. The impression is calm, soporifero, unbroken. History shaped Teatro Colón in continuity. Opened in 1908, replacing earlier theaters, it became symbol of cultural refinement. Decades passed, renovations occurred, crises interrupted, yet theater endured. Restoration in early 21st century preserved geometry, renewed surfaces, sustained rhythm. Teatro Colón does not alter in essence, it repeats. The plaza before theater opens in symmetry, trees planted, benches aligned, lamps glowing. Visitors pause, observe façade, continue. Cars pass along avenues, pedestrians cross in cycles, silence spreads between. The plaza breathes in cadence. At twilight, lamps glow along façade, windows illuminated, dome outlined. Inside, music prepares, instruments tuned, audience gathers, curtains rise, sound unfolds, cadence sustained. Night does not disrupt rhythm, it sustains. From above, Teatro Colón appears as geometry within city grid. From within, it dissolves into cadence, column after column, arch after arch, note after note. The impression is not variety, It is persistence softened into calm. For the observer, Tetrocolan is calm when seen in rhythm. Architecture does not overwhelm. It aligns. Music does not dazzle. It repeats. Performances do not vary. They persist. Each impression mirrors the others. Each rhythm endures. And so, Tetrocolan becomes another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Theater is not chaos. It is geometry. Music is not spectacle. It is constancy. Performance is not novelty. It is persistence. In persistence lies calm. In calm lies rest. Buenos Aires breathes not only through plazas and boulevards, but also through its markets, where daily commerce unfolds in measured rhythm. Markets are not spectacle but cadence, stall after stall, basket after basket, voice after voice. The San Telmo market, built in the late 19th century, preserves its iron and glass structure. Beams arch in repetition, skylights admit light and constancy, floors paved in stone. Inside, stalls align in rows, goods displayed in order. Fruits stacked in pyramids, vegetables arranged in bundles, meats hung in sequence. Antique stalls add another rhythm. Books aligned on shelves, mirrors reflecting light, furniture placed in rows. Visitors move in cadence, pause, observe, continue. The market breathes in constancy. The Belgrano market, smaller yet persistent, unfolds in similar rhythm. Walls painted in muted tones, stalls aligned in geometry, products displayed. Here too, vegetables, meats, and daily goods repeat in order. Vendors call in subdued tones, buyers respond, exchanges made. The market does not dazzle, it endures. Other markets extend across barrios. Recoleta, with crafts displayed on weekends, artisans setting tables, objects aligned in constancy. Mataderas, with tradition of livestock and regional foods. Stalls repeating in cycles, music drifting, meals served. Each market distinct, yet all dissolving into rhythm of commerce. The goods themselves follow cadence. Tomatoes arranged in baskets, oranges stacked in pyramids, cheeses cut and wrapped in sequins. Bread baked, loaves displayed in rows, pastries placed in trays. Fish laid on ice, scales glimmering, vendors repeating gestures. Each product mirrors another, each display aligns with next. The impression is not variety. It is geometry softened to commerce. The sound of markets is subdued when heard in cadence. Vendors call in intervals, buyers respond in rhythm. Footsteps echo on floors. Knives cut in repetition, paper wrestles in sequence. Silence fills between. Noise becomes pattern dissolves into calm. The cafes and eateries within markets add another rhythm. Tables arranged in rows, chairs placed in constancy, menus repeating. Dishes served, empanadas, sandwiches, pastries. Cups filled, spoons stirred, voices drifting. Visitors pause, eat, continue. The cadence persists unbroken. History shaped markets as continuity. Built in 19th and early 20th centuries to organize commerce, they survived crises, restorations, and change. Vendors passed stalls from generation to generation. Products varied with seasons, yet rhythm endured. Markets do not alter in essence, they repeat. At twilight, markets quiet. Stalls closed, baskets empty, floors swept. Lamps glow in constancy, silence spreads. Next day, goods return, stalls reopen, rhythm resumes. Market breathes in cycle unbroken. From above, markets appear as geometry of roofs and halls. From within, they dissolve into cadence. Stall after stall, basket after basket, step after step. The impression is not spectacle. It is persistence softened to calm. For the observer, Buenos Aires markets are calm and seen in rhythm. Stalls do not overwhelm. They align. Goods do not dazzle. They repeat. Voices do not vary. They persist. Each impression mirrors others. Each rhythm endures. And so, the markets become another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Commerce is not chaos, it is geometry. Goods are not novelty, they are constancy. Exchange is not spectacle, it is persistence. In persistence lies calm, and calm lies rest. Buenos Aires breathes through its cafes, spaces where time unfolds in rhythm and conversation dissolves into cadence. Among them, the cafe's notables preserve tradition. Their walls hold memory, their mirrors reflect constancy, their tables align in repetition. A cafe is not spectacle, but geometry. Chair after chair, cup after cup, shadow after shadow. The most emblematic is Café Tortoni, founded in 1858, located on Avenida de Mayo. Its facade modest, its interior profound. Inside, mirrors stretch along walls, tables arranged in rows, lamps glowing in intervals. Paintings and photographs hang in sequence, curtains drawn in constancy, silence alternating with low voices. Waiters move in cadence, placing cups, carrying trays, clearing tables. Patrons read, converse, observe. The cafe breathes in repetition. The tables of Tortoni define rhythm. Wooden surfaces worn by decades, chairs aligned, cups placed in cycles. Coffee served with pastry, spoons stirred in constancy, conversations drifting. Writers, artists, and musicians once gathered here, yet their presence is memory absorbed into geometry. Today, visitors repeat gestures, order, wait, sip, continue. Tortoni does not dazzle, it endures. Nearby lies Los 36 Pillars, another cafe notable. Its facade aligned with avenue, its interior extending deep. Tables arranged in rows, billiard tables beyond, lamps hanging in constancy. The sound subdued, balls striking in intervals, voices drifting, footsteps echoing. Patrons play, converse, pause. Calf and dame repeat in cadence, unbroken. In Recoleta, beside Plaza Francia, stands La Bila, another cafe notable. Its tables extend under trees, its interior lined with mirrors, its presence constant for decades. Waiters move in rhythm, trays balanced, cups placed. Outside, conversations drift beneath shade, footsteps pass, silence fills between. La Bella does not dazzle. It persists. Other cafes repeat pattern. London City, where Julio Cortázar once wrote, its tables aligned in constancy. El Gato Negro, with shelves of spices and teas, its counters arranged in sequence. Las Violetas, with stained glass and pastries displayed, its lamps glowing in rhythm. Each cafe distinct, yet all dissolve into repetition. Table after table, cup after cup. The sound of cafes is subdued when heard in cadence. Cups placed in intervals, spoons stirred in cycles, voices drifting. Chairs move, doors open, silence fills between. Music may play softly, notes repeating, rhythm sustained. The impression is calm, soporiferal, unbroken. The light in cafes alternates. By day, sunlight filters through windows, reflections cast on mirrors, shadows stretching. By night, lamps glow in constancy, surfaces softening, silence deepening. Light does not disrupt rhythm, it sustains. History shaped cafes as continuity. Opened in 19th and early 20th centuries, they survived crises, political changes, and restorations. Patrons changed, yet gestures repeated. Coffee served, conversations exchanged, silence endured. Cafes' notables do not alter in essence, they repeat. From above, a cafe appears as geometry of tables and chairs. From within, it dissolves into cadence, cup after cup, gesture after gesture, pause after pause. The impression is not novelty. It is constancy softened into calm. For the observer, Buenos Aires cafes are calm when seen in rhythm. Tortoni does not overwhelm, it aligns. Los 36 Pillars does not dazzle, it repeats. La Bila does not vary, it persists. Each impression mirrors the others, each rhythm endures. And so, the cafe's notables become another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Cafes are not chaos. They are geometry. Conversations are not spectacle. They are constancy. Coffee is not novelty, it is persistence. And persistence lies calm. And calm lies rest. Buenos Aires is a city of books, a city where reading has long been part of daily rhythm. Libraries and bookshops extend across barrios, their shelves aligned, their halls quiet, their lights constant. They are not spectacle but cadence. Shelf after shelf, page after page, silence after silence. The most emblematic is El Ateneo Grand Splendid, located on Avenida Santa Fe. Once a theater, later a cinema, today transformed into bookshop. Its form preserved, its function renewed, its rhythm unbroken. The facade modest, the interior vast. Inside, the hall extends beneath dome. Shelves align where seats once stood, balconies preserved, boxes now holding books. The stage, once for actors and musicians, now houses cafe. Curtains red remain, lights glow in constancy, silence persists. Visitors walk in cadence, step after step, shelf after shelf, book after book. The dome painted with frescoes crowns hall. Figures arranged in symmetry, colors muted, light filtering. Lamps glow in intervals, shadows fall in rhythm, reflections shimmer. The dome does not dazzle. It endures as geometry above shelves. The balconies preserve repetition. Once private boxes, now shelves and reading spaces. Visitors lean on railings, pages turn, silence fills between. Each balcony resembles the others, each impression repeats. The cafe on stage continues rhythm. Tables aligned, cups placed, conversation subdued. Visitors pause, sip, read, continue. Music plays softly, spoons stir in constancy, silence spreads. The cafe does not overwhelm, it aligns with cadence of hall. Other bookshops of Buenos Aires repeat geometry. Eterna Cadencia in Palermo, with rooms arranged around courtyard, shelves extending, lamps glowing. Classica y Moderna, with tables for meals beside bookshelves. Libreria de Avila, the oldest, near Plaza de Mayo, with wooden shelves, rare volumes, silence and constancy. Each distinct, yet all dissolve into rhythm of books. The libraries of Buenos Aires add another cadence. The Biblioteca Nacional Mariano Moreno, vast and monumental, rises in Recoleta. Its structure of concrete, its halls expansive, its shelves aligned. Inside, books arranged in constancy, readers moving in silence, pages turning in rhythm. Outside, gardens extend, statues placed, paths crossing. The library breathes in cadence of knowledge. Smaller libraries align in barrios. Municipal libraries, university collections, cultural centers, shelves repeating, desks arranged, lamps glowing. Readers entering, reading, departing. Silence persists, rhythm sustained. The sound of libraries and bookshops is subdued. Pages turning in intervals, footsteps soft, whispers drifting, chairs moving, pens writing, silence filling between. Noise becomes rhythm, rhythm dissolves into calm. The light alternates in cycles. By day, sunlight filters through windows, reflections cast on covers, shadows stretching. By night, lamps glow in constancy, surfaces softening, silence deepening. Light does not disrupt rhythm, it sustains. History shaped Buenos Aires as city of books. Immigration brought languages, presses, and publishers. 20th century expanded bookstores, magazines, and journals. Writers gathered in cafes, libraries preserved memory, bookshops sold in cycles. Crises passed, yet books remained, shelves restocked, readers persisted. The city does not alter in essence, it repeats. At twilight, bookshops glow with interior light. Windows reflect lamps, doors remain open, visitors pause. Libraries close, halls emptied, silence spreading. Next day, shelves reopened, books waiting, readers returning. Cycle unbroken. From above, El Ateneo appears as theater preserved in geometry. From within, it dissolves into cadence, shelf after shelf, page after page, pause after pause. The impression is not variety. It is constancy softened to calm. For the observer, Buenos Aires bookshops and libraries are calm when seen in rhythm. El Ateneo does not overwhelm. It aligns, Eterna Cadencia does not dazzle. It repeats. Biblioteca Nacional does not vary. It persists. Each impression mirrors the others. Each rhythm endures. And so, the bookshops and libraries become another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Books are not chaos. They are geometry. Reading is not spectacle. It is constancy. Knowledge is not novelty. It is persistence. And persistence lies calm. And calm lies rest. Buenos Aires extends not only in plazas, cafés, and bookshops, but also across the surfaces of its walls, where color and form repeat in rhythm. Murals and urban art unfold across barrios, creating constancy of images, symbols, and gestures. The impression is not spectacle, but cadence. Wall after wall, color after color, figure after figure. The origins of this tradition lie in history. Political graffiti once marked walls, slogans painted in repetition, messages erased and repainted in cycles. Over decades, artistic expression expanded, colors added, images replacing words. Today, murals stretch across façades, fences, and underpasses. Their presence is not novelty. It is persistence of paint across surfaces. In La Boca, murals depict port, workers, tango, and color. Figures painted in bold lines, ships repeating, dancers aligned. Walls along Caminito glow in constancy, each surface another canvas, each gesture another repetition. Visitors walk, pause, observe, continue. Murals do not dazzle, they persist. In San Telmo, walls soften into muted tones. Figures painted in subtle lines, themes historical or intimate. Murals stretch along cobblestone streets, framed by colonial houses shaded by trees. Each surface distinct, yet together forming rhythm of barrio. Silence fills between, footsteps echo, colors endure. In Palermo, urban art expands across scale. Large murals cover entire buildings, faces painted in immense size, colors aligned in gradients. Smaller works appear on doors, windows, and fences. Streets of Palermo, Soho, and Hollywood breathe with repetition. Shop after shop, cafe after cafe, wall after wall. The impression is not variety. It is constancy softened to color. In Villa Urquiza and other barrios, community projects sustain rhythm. Murals painted on schools, community centers, and plazas. Children contribute in cycles, brushes repeating gestures, walls absorbing. Colors fade, surfaces repainted, rhythm unbroken. The themes of Buenos Aires murals repeat across spaces. Some depict tango dancers, bodies moving in symmetry, gestures frozen in paint. Others portray historical figures, Eva Peron, Che Guevara, writers and musicians. Some show abstractions, colors aligned in rhythm, lines dissolving into constancy. Each mural distinct, yet all dissolve into cadence of wall and paint. The sound of mural spaces is subdued. Brushes stroke in intervals, voices of artists drift, footsteps echo on pavement. Birds call, wind moves, silence fills between. Noise becomes rhythm, rhythm dissolves into calm. At twilight, murals shift in tone. Sunlight fades, colors soften, lamps glow in constancy. Shadows extend, surfaces darken, silence spreads. Night does not disrupt rhythm, it sustains. History-shaped murals is continuity. From slogans to images, from protest to celebration, from private gesture to public work. Walls painted, repainted, restored. Colors fading, renewed, sustained. The city does not alter in essence, It repeats. From above, murals dissolve into urban fabric. From within, they unfold in cadence. Wall after wall, color after color, figure after figure. The impression is not spectacle. It is persistence softened into calm. For the observer, Buenos Aires murals are calm when seen in rhythm. La Boca does not overwhelm. It aligns. San Telmo does not dazzle. It repeats. Palermo does not bury. It persists. Each impression mirrors the others. Each rhythm endures. And so, the murals in urban art become another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Walls are not chaos, they are geometry. Colors are not novelty, they are constancy. Figures are not spectacle, they are persistence. And persistence lies calm. In calm lies rest. Buenos Aires breathes through its plazas, cafés, and markets, but it also breathes through tango, the music and dance that emerged along its streets more than a century ago. Tango is not only sound and gesture, it is rhythm shaped in movement, repetition unfolding across generations. Step after step, note after note, embrace after embrace. The origins of tango lie in the late 19th century. In the port districts of La Boca and Barracas, immigrants gathered in taverns, courtyards, and dance halls. Rhythms from Europe, Africa, and the Rio de la Plata converged. Accordions, violins, and guitars played in cycles. Voices sang in constancy. Movements emerged, steps repeated, embraces aligned, bodies turning in cadence. Tango was not chaos. It was geometry shaped in music and dance. The music of tango is defined by bandoneon, an accordion-like instrument. Its sound deep, its notes sustained, its phrases repeated. Violins add melody, piano aligns chords, bass sustains rhythm. The music breathes in cycles, phrase, pause, silence fills between, tension and release unfold in cadence. The impression is not spectacle, it is persistence of sound. The lyrics of tango often describe streets, lost loves, memories of barrios. Words aligned in rhyme, sung in low tones, repeated in stanzas. Themes return across songs, absence, time, distance. Each song distinct, yet all dissolving into rhythm of longing. The dance of tango unfolds in embrace. Partners hold, bodies aligned, steps small and precise. Feet move in repetition, forward, back, side, pause. Turns measured, gestures mirrored, movements unbroken. The dance is not chaos, it is rhythm sustained between two. Silence and music alternate, bodies dissolving into cadence. In San Telmo, plazas host tango in constancy. Musicians play in corners, dancers perform in open space, visitors gather. Chairs placed, lamps glowing, steps unfolding. Applause may rise, but essence remains. Repetition of gesture, persistence of music. In La Boca, Caminito preserves tradition. Musicians align in cafes, dancers perform on sidewalks. Costumes colorful, movements repeated, music continuous. Tourists watch, pause, photograph, continue. Tango breathes in rhythm, unbroken. In milongas, social dance halls across city, tango persists in cycles. Couples gather, music plays, lights glow in constancy. Dancers move in cadence, embrace, step, turn, pause. Silence spreads between songs, gestures repeat. Milongas are not spectacle, they are persistence of tradition. The sound of tango is subdued when heard in rhythm. Bandoneon breathes in intervals, violin repeats phrases, piano sustains chords. Dancers' steps echo on wood, voices murmur in background, silence fills between. Noise becomes pattern, pattern dissolves into calm. History shaped tango as continuity. Once considered marginal, later celebrated, then exported across world. Orchestras grew, dancers traveled, songs recorded. Crises passed, yet tango persisted. Bands dissolved, milongas reopened, music played. Tango does not alter in essence, it repeats. At twilight, tango softens into glow. Plazas illuminated, musicians tuning, dancers embracing. Lamps glow in constancy, shadows extend, silence surrounds. Music begins, bodies align, cadence unfolds. Night sustains rhythm unbroken. From above, tango appears as pattern of couples moving in symmetry. From within, it dissolves into cadence. Step after step, note after note, embrace after embrace. The impression is not variety. It is persistence softened to calm. For the observer, tango is calm when seen in rhythm. Music does not overwhelm. It aligns. Dance does not dazzle. It repeats. Lyrics do not vary. They persist. Each impression mirrors the others. Each rhythm endures. And so, tango becomes another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Music is not chaos. It is geometry. Dance is not spectacle. It is constancy. Embrace is not novelty. It is persistence. In persistence lies calm. In calm lies rest. As the day descends into twilight, Buenos Aires softens. The city does not vanish, but dissolves in layers of light and shadow. Its avenues glow, its cafés illuminate, its plazas quiet. The impression is not spectacle, but cadence. Lamp after lamp, window after window, silence after silence. On Avenida de Mayo, facades darken into silhouettes. Lamps glow in constancy, windows illuminated. Café Tortoni, lost 36 pillars, London city tables occupied, cups filled, conversations drifting. Mirrors reflect light, spoons stir in rhythm, doors open and close in cycles. The avenue breathes in cadence, its rhythm softened by evening. Along the Avenida Corrientes, theaters light their signs in repetition. Marquees glowing, letters aligned, bulbs flickering in constancy. Pedestrians move in streams, booksellers open stalls, pizza houses prepare slices. Voices echo, footsteps repeat, silence fills between. The avenue does not dazzle. It persists in rhythm of night. On Avenida 9 de Julio, headlights align in lanes, traffic flowing in cycles. The obelisk glows in white light, its surface reflecting, its presence unbroken. Trees darken, lamps glowing in intervals, plazas outlined in constancy. The avenue sustains rhythm, unbroken by hour. In San Telmo, cobblestones glisten under lamps. Markets close, stalls folded, silence spreads. In Plaza Dorrego, a guitarist plays, notes repeating, voices soft. Shadows lengthen across facades, lamps reflect in windows, conversations drift. The barrio breathes in cadence, not variety. In La Boca, Caminito rests. Colors muted in twilight, murals softened, silence extending. Tourists depart, shops close, footsteps fade. Lamps glow along streets, reflections shimmer in Riachuelo. Night sustains barrio's rhythm, calm and persistent. In Palermo, trees darken into silhouettes. Cafes fill with light, chairs aligned on sidewalks, cups placed in repetition. Conversations soften, bicycles pass, lamps glow along plazas. In Bosques de Palermo, lakes reflect lamps, bridges outlined, silence expanding. The park does not dazzle. It dissolves into constancy. In Recoleta, cemetery quiets. Mausoleums stand in shadow, lamps glowing at gates, silence spreading in constancy. Avenues illuminate, Alvear, Libertador, their facades glowing, domes outlined. Cafes of La Baila continue, tables occupied, voices subdued. The barrio breathes in rhythm of evening. In Belgrano, Plaza Manuel Belgrano glows. Stalls removed, benches empty, lamps casting circles of light. La Redonda outlined, bells silent, silence expanding. Barrancas shaded, paths empty, lamps glowing in intervals. Streets calm, houses illuminated, doors closed in repetition. In Puerto Madera, twilight transforms docks. Lamps glow along walkways, reflections ripple in water, towers illuminated. Puente la Mujer outlined in white, figures crossing in cadence. Restaurants fill, windows glowing, conversations drifting. The river reflects lights and constancy, horizon dissolving. The sound of Buenos Aires at twilight is subdued. Engines hum in intervals, footsteps echo, voices soften. Bells ring from churches, music drifts from cafes, silence fills between. The impression is not chaos. It is rhythm dissolving into calm. The light defines evening. Lamps aligned in rows, headlights in lanes, windows illuminated. Trees darken, domes outlined, reflections shimmer. Light repeats in cycles, sustaining rhythm of city. History persists at twilight. The same plazas illuminated, the same avenues glowing, the same cafes filled. Decades pass, buildings restored, lamps replaced, yet cadence unbroken. Twilight does not alter essence, it repeats. From above, Buenos Aires appears as constellation of lights. Avenues stretching, plazas glowing, neighborhoods shimmering. From within, it dissolves into cadence, lamp after lamp, window after window, silence after silence. The impression is not variety, it is persistence softened into calm. For the observer, Buenos Aires at twilight is calm when seen in rhythm. Avenues do not overwhelm, they align. Cafes do not dazzle, they repeat. Plazas do not vary, they persist. Each impression mirrors the others, each rhythm endures. And so, twilight becomes another chapter in Buenos Aires rhythm. Evening is not chaos, it is geometry. Light is not spectacle, it is constancy. Silence is not novelty, it is persistence. In persistence lies calm, in calm lies rest. Buenos Aires extends as a broad plain of streets and shadows, of river light and measured facades. Seen barrio by barrio, plaza by plaza, the city offers detail and variety. Seen as a whole, it becomes cadence. The river breathes at the edge. The grid advances inward. The trees arrange a canopy above sidewalks. Buildings rise in aligned fronts. Markets open and close. Cafes fill and empty. Music starts and fades. The city is not spectacle. It is a sequence of ordered gestures sustained across the day and through the night. The Rio de la Plata remains constant along the eastern horizon. Its water widens into a surface without urgency. Ferries depart, ferries arrive, wakes flatten back to stillness. Wind crosses the estuary in long strokes, folding color into metal grays and pale browns. The promenade repeats benches at measured intervals. Lamps, then gaps without lamps, trees, then gaps without trees. The river repeats the city's preference for breadth over height, for horizontals over peaks, for time spread out in slow increments rather than compressed into moments. Inside the fabric, the grid proceeds in right angles, each block approximating the last. Facades keep rank, cornices linger at similar heights, balconies reappear with only small deviations. Intersections hesitate, then release. Signals redden and green. Pedestrians collect, then flow. The system is legible and quiet, an urban metronome that sets the tempo for all smaller tempos within it. Within the grid, plazas are deliberate pauses, a rectangle of grass, a figure on a plinth, a ring of benches, a perimeter of trees. Plaza de Mayo carries government and memory in its edges. Plaza San Martin opens toward the river with lawns and heights. Plaza Francia arrays craft on weekends and a hush on weekdays. Each square is a diagram of civic calm, a geometry of stopping so the city's larger motion can be perceived and measured. The barrios follow with their particular accents yet converge in rhythm. San Telmo narrows streets into cobbles and shade, revealing courtyards inside thick walls. La Boca assembles color into panels, balconies, and corrugated planes, translating ship paint into domestic code. Palermo stretches shade along long sidewalks, divides time with cafes, repeats the logic of parks, lakes, and paths. Recoleta sets a measured register of stone, iron, and light, articulating silence in mausoleums and in museums. Del Grano expands the domestic cadence into avenues, plazas, and slopes, distributing trees as an instrument distributes notes. Each borough adds a timbre, but not a new tempo. The underlying beat is held. Monuments and systems keep the count. The obelisk marks the city's midpoint as a fixed downbeat, a vertical line read from any approach, a measure against which lanes and facades pass. Avenida 9 de Julio spreads lanes as staves for moving light, headlamps and tail lamps writing scores that repeat each evening with slight variation. Puerto Madero takes 19th century docks and reassigns them to present uses, but the long basins and their paired edges continue to state the same sentence: water, brick, path, reflection. Water, glass, path, reflection. The tetracolon renders order into sound, drafting silence and resonance into the same hall, returning the listener to breath and to pause. Commerce articulates the daily cycle. Markets arrange goods into pyramids and rows, then erase themselves to start again the next morning. Cafés set out tables, distribute cups and saucers, collect them, polish the surfaces, and prepare to repeat. Bookshops shelve, unshelve, reshelve. Libraries intake, classify, lend, receive. Murals fade and are refreshed. Tango begins in a phrase, holds at a pause, resumes. In each case, the practice is a loop rather than a line, and the city prefers loops. The sound field resolves into layers. A bus exhales, then rests. A bell counts the hour, then stops. A bandoneon opens, closes, opens, closes. Cutlery sets down. A page is turned. Shoes, leaves, and distant water divide the air. Each sound leaves space around itself, a space that carries the shape of the city as surely as a map carries the shape of its avenues. The light advances from morning clarity to afternoon breath to evening glow. In morning, facades are plains. By afternoon, they are volumes. By night, they are edges and apertures. Trees cast nets of shade, then figures of shadow, then silhouettes. The city allows light to do most of the ornamenting. The architecture provides the lines. The sky provides the rest. History is present as a sequence of survivals, foundations repeated, expansions and contractions, arrivals by ship and by rail. Schools opening, theaters opening, museums opening, interruptions, then resumptions. The city as memory is not kept only in monuments, but in repetitions that have not been canceled. The park that is still a park, the cafe that is still a cafe, the market that is still a market, the corner where people still wait in the same loose formation for the same numbered bus. Transportation is a clock distributed through space. Subways run the same tunnels, doors open at the same marks on the platform. Trains run the same rails, stations hold their names. Buses write their routes against the same buildings. Ferries draw the same diagonals across the estuary. To step into any of these is to step into a known sentence already underway, a sentence the city speaks all day and all night without emphasis or fatigue. If you gather the parts, river, grid, plazas, neighborhoods, monuments, systems, commerce, culture, the outline that remains is cadence. Buenos Aires proceeds by a measured return. It resists drama by distributing attention. It prefers a long page to a quick paragraph. It allows the body to idle at a speed just below intention. The effect for the traveler who listens for it is steadiness. Now the detail lowers its volume. The river declines to announce itself. The avenues continue without comment. The plazas pause with fewer words. The buildings offer their fronts and withdraw. The parks keep their reflections near the surface and let the sky have the rest. The cafes rearrange cups into quiet geometries. The music edits itself down to breath and phrase. The murals hold color in their pigments rather than sending it out. The city prepares to be a field rather than a figure. The long surface of Buenos Aires invites the traveler to place thoughts upon it and watch them thin. A concern stands upright, then leans, then sits, then rests its head on the table, then sleeps. Streets fold concerns into the weave of crosswalks. Trees separate them into smaller and smaller pieces until they are indistinguishable from moving shade. The river takes what remains and makes it horizontal. Rhythm reduces, steps shorten, breath lengthens. Facades align, windows dim, corners round, avenues extend, lamps repeat. Traffic softens, benches wait, leaves settle, water holds. Cups quiet, pages close, doors rest. The city releases time in slow measures. The grid becomes a cradle. The river becomes a blanket. The air becomes a hush. What was plural becomes parallel. What was bright becomes even. What was near becomes near and far at once, as if distance had adopted the habit of the city and chosen breadth over height, patience over speed. Buenos Aires dissolves into plan and tone, into line and interval, into light and pause, plaza after plaza, tree after tree, stone after stone, street after street, window after window, lamp after lamp, a breath, another breath, another. The city persists. The city rests, the city dissolves, and then quiet, and then calm, and then sleep.